Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you are all having a wonderful night, evening, day, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. I truly hope it is wonderful. So, episode 28 of the Mystery Reviews. Gosh, has it really been 28? But yes, episode 28. I gave the hints during the week, and the final hint, or the first hints, were Robert Patrick and I believe Scat. The bonus hint was, what was it? I know I gave it. How you doing, Norris? And can't wait for 69 mystery reviews. Oh, how you doing, Jude Bug? But yes, the bonus was, I believe, you know what? Hold on one moment. I think I remember. Yeah. Well, then go ahead and guess it if you know it. But yes, Robert Patrick and Scat. And then I had the bonus, which was not Terminator 2. Somebody guessed in one of my group chats. Oh, yes. The other was cherry flavored. And then Fire in the Sky, it is not. Although that is a good movie. Yes, cherry flavored was the bonus hint. Plus the last final hint was guaranteed to jack you up. Direct quote from the movie. And Jack of all casuals, good to see you. Yes, I am feeling a little bit better. I starting to get over. That was me. I'm being a pain. Yeah, I know. But it's okay. Jade, good to see you. So, for those of you who haven't guessed it, it is a 1998 film known as The Faculty. The one where aliens are essentially taking over the school. Now, this film was directed and edited by Robert Rodriguez, and it has a pretty good cast. Jordana Brewster, Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, Clea Duvall, Laura Harris, Robert Patrick, Bebe Neuwirth, Salma Hayek, Famke Janssen, Dan Von Bargen. Friggin' Summer Phoenix even makes a damn cameo in this movie. But yes, the movie is indeed The Faculty. This movie was shot or filmed in Texas, but it takes place in Ohio. And it was filmed all over Texas, too. So the film starts with a football practice where Robert Patrick is basically a hard-ass coach. He is ripping into his players, and he's just giving them such a freaking hard time. He tells off the star quarterback, and from the last movie that I saw him in before this movie, which was Terminator 2, you'd notice a very different kind of attitude. You know, he actually talks more. But anyway, you also notice that Usher Raymond is in this film. And while the players are walking off, you see the coach flip over one of the benches full of stuff and start taking out his frustrations on a faulty sprinkler. And then behind him, there's a shadowy figure that comes up behind him. And you then get a fade out to the faculty meeting, where Bebe Neuwirth plays Principal Drake, Dan Von Bargen plays Mr. Tate, Piper Laurie plays Miss Olsen. And those are the three present at the meeting. And she's basically telling them, you're not getting what you want for the school budget. And they're like, well, I bet the football team's going to get all their shit. New equipment, new this, new that. And she's like, have you ever seen the football stadium on a Friday night, the whole town is there. This is a football town, you know? And yes, they will get everything they want. She is such a bitch, basically, perceived by the rest of the faculty. So she goes in, she forgets her keys, and she goes in to get her keys. And that's where she sees the coach, who she perceives as drinking. He's like, "You're very pretty tonight, Brenda." And he's giving off that he does kind of give off an inebriated vibe. And then he's like, "Do you have a pencil? I really need a pencil. Do you have a pencil?" And he bothers her to the point where she gives him a pencil, or the coach pencil, and he sticks it right through her hand. And it's like, fuck me, man. It's like, holy shit, this movie basically right in just goes brutal with the effects. So she scratches his face, runs, and he plays complete psychotic where he's chasing her, blowing his whistle, chasing her, and then he gets smacked again. Miss Olsen forgot one of her books, and she's like, "Where are your keys?" And she left them in the office, so she has to go get them. And she gets out of the place just in time, but the coach stops trying to break through the door, because she locked it and chained it. Well, then the other teacher stabs her to death with the scissors, the principal. "I always wanted to do that." Just what he said when he stabbed her with the pencil through the hand. "I always wanted to do that." It's just, wow. So then we get to the introduction of the characters. Now this, like I said, folks, the acting in this movie is hit and miss. There are slight writing issues. There are more than enough flaws in this movie. But for the most part, I think the movie is pretty solid. So let's get further into it. Hold on one moment. Okay. So, yes. I was 6 or 7. You mean they have guns and they have to digitally remove them and post in? But I think I was 4 when I first saw it. Yeah. Kill aliens with meth. That's one way of putting it. So, yes. We get an intro to the students, and I love how they pause each scene of the characters, like Elijah Wood's character, Casey. After he gets elbowed in the face, they stop they pause my friend off camera. Just being silly. But they pause the shot, and show his name. They do it with all the main characters: Delilah, Casey, Stan, Zeke, and Mary Beth, the 5 most important people in the movie. And I really like how each of them are basically, it's high school. It's almost like a Breakfast Club with aliens, it's not a Saturday detention. It's more of like about a week or 2 in this movie, or this movie takes place inside of. So Zeke is Josh Hartnett's character. He drives like a maniac, and one of the things you can clearly see when his character is introduced is that you could clearly see the stunt driver looks nothing like Josh Hartnett's haircut or hairstyle. This dude has like a fucking perm, where Josh Hartnett has his fucking hair ruffled a little bit, but mostly kept. Casey gets off the bus, which is Elijah Wood's character, and is elbowed in the face, like I said, while he's looking at the head cheerleader, Delilah, played by Jordana Brewster. Now, I can actually remember when I was younger and seeing this film, I actually had a crush on Jordana Brewster. She was fucking hot. She still is hot, you know? And it's like, yeah, I did that. Both back then, when I was that age, and even now. But she's happily married, and I believe she has kids, so yeah, not touching it now. But still, one can always dream, you know? So then we get Stokely, who's walking by Casey, and she's like crash and burn Casey, and she's like a goth light kind of chick, played by the awesome Clea Duvall. And she's then walking by and looking at these two freaking female students just beating the shit out of each other in a road rage accident because one student rear-ended another one, and she just starts losing her shit. Jade Henry. Well, hello and welcome to the channel. VOT, FYI. Don't know what VOT means, but FYI is for your information. Now, we then, let's see here, see Delilah talking to the rest of her cheerleaders, and Stan goes up to her, and she wants to kiss, he wants to kiss her, and she's like, nope. These are SPL allotted lips or some shit, and she's looking for a heading to the school newspaper, so she can give a report. And he's like, well, it's a bot. Well, VOTFYI. Yeah, if there's anybody in the chat who is a mod, please make sure that any bots are disposed of and blocked, which I believe this person might be, but I'm not sure if I have any people in the bot. So, you know what? I am going to... They were popping up in Lethal's chat. I got it. Thank you, Jade. So, yes, this person is a bot. And I'm still a little stuffy, but folks, so just bear with the sniffles because, yes, I am still stuffy and my voice is about 99%. So, yes, I will give a small cough every now and then, too. So then we get introduced to Stan. He's like, in fact, this might be the story you're looking for because he's planning on quitting the football team. Then we see Casey getting his nuts ran into the flagpole by a bunch of other students. And we see Mary Beth, the new girl, ask him where the office is. And she's a southern accent, nice southern drawl. We see Summer Phoenix slapping the shit out of her boyfriend when he's trying to get or stop her from walking away from him. We're then introduced to Scat, which is one of the hints. And Scat is basically caffeine and some other household shit. And it's guaranteed to jack you up. So basically, Zeke is the drug dealer / fucking porn handler / fucking all sorts of other shit. I mean, he hooks everybody up with whatever they need. He's basically the town peddler. And he's basically just a rebel whose parents left him because of his rebelliousness. We then get introduced to Daniel Von Bargen's character again, Mr. Tate, the history teacher. The faculty are seriously dysfunctional in this movie. They're all you see the freaking coach who's just slogging away at water. And Jon Stewart is also in this film, where he's like, looks like the coach is thirsty. Maybe it's a pre-game ritual. And you see Famke Janssen, who played Xenia, sort of gave an Onatopp from GoldenEye back in the day, kind of around the time this movie was made, shortly before this movie, I believe. But anyway, she's a very reserved teacher. She's covered up. She has glasses on. It's like barely recognizing her until she becomes an alien, then you recognize her. And Mr. Furlong is basically trying to get into Selma Hayek's pants, who's the nurse, and she's sick as a dog. And they're like, why don't you just go home? Call in sick. No way. I'm saving my sick days for when I feel better. And then he's like, why don't you just put a pen in my eye? Which is an epic foreshadow. Now, the teacher, Miss Burke, who is Famke Johnson, she actually is kind of Mary Kay Letourneau-ish. I wouldn't have used the word scat, but when I also know the Urban Dictionary, This was before Urban Dictionaries and shit, to be honest, Mara. But yeah, I'll have to look that up because I'm not really focused on it. So we then see that Stan is trying to get his girlfriend's attention, and she's like, no, we're going to have to talk about this later. I'm quitting the team. You're not playing tomorrow night? I'm not playing at all. Will you fucking listen? And so she basically is like, the accepted social structure is head cheerleader, dates, freaking star quarterback, not academic wannabes. And he's like, I want to focus on my academics. I can do every other sport. I want to see what else I can't do, And she actually has some pretty good freaking lines. She's like, and what am I supposed to do while you're on this yellow brick quest for a brain? Basically calling him the Scarecrow. And it's just, he's like, I thought you'd be with me on this, So we then we basically get the idea that Delilah breaks up with Stan because of this, because it's against the social order. Mary Beth tries approaching Stokely in friendship, and Stokely is not interested, and Delilah basically bullies Stokely because she's like, I hope you're not a violent, angry lesbian like Stokely here, which causes Stokely to fucking leave because she's sick of Delilah's shit, calling her a bipolar bitch. And after that, Casey basically finds a new species on the football field, and the coach basically creeps him out, he's like, seen you around. You're not very much into sports. I don't think a person should run unless he's being chased. Being chased? I like that. I mean, you think that this fucking coach is a creeper right there, man. But then he's like, get out of here. And you just see Elijah Wood just creep off. I mean, his character couldn't be more pathetic. Hold on one second, folks. I'm back. So, Tin Man wanted a heart. Scarecrow wanted a brain. These problems came by murdering somebody, taking their organs. Jesus Christ. Good to see you, Happy Dino. Good to see you. So, after Elijah Wood basically slinks off, you basically get the idea that there is something seriously wrong with certain people in this school, like Mrs. Olsen, who had her hair up, her glasses up. She comes in earlier in the film. She looks completely different than what she looked like the night before. Left to use the bathroom. So hopefully you're doing good, aren't you? Yeah, I'm definitely doing good. Thank you, Happy. Good to see you, bub. So, yeah, we get the idea that this is basically aliens taking over the school. So the best way to detect aliens, it's easy at first. The faculty are the ones being turned quickly because they're the ones with the most influence in the social structure of a school. Now, when it comes to the faculty, because they all changed from their normal routines and their normal behavior, where the coach is a fucking hard ass, he starts showing emotion where Mrs. Olsen is a freaking wreck. Where she's a drama teacher, she is now more serious and more walking straight and whatnot. Shit, I got her. Yeah. If we're talking good Elijah Wood films, I recommend The Faculty. What shit I got? Yeah, you did, dude. And Daniel Von Bargen, who's a fucking drunk, is, well, no longer a drunk. You could just see the humongous changes in each of these characters. We then get to where Stan is taking a shower after gym class, and this is after Miss Olsen goes to talk to an elderly teacher, Mrs. Brummel, and she wigs out in the shower because she can't breathe, and her body couldn't take the transition into an alien. The heat got to the body because it was too old. And you see freaking Stan just pull off the side of her head, and it's like, holy fuck, man, you know? And you also see Casey noticing the freaking coach is out in the middle of the field while the sprinklers are on, you know, cooling off and whatnot. So they ask him and Stan to keep it quiet because they witnessed this, and they came up with the story that Mrs. Brummel had cancer, you know? So after that, Delilah and Casey go into the faculty lounge to look for a new story. And before that scene, I am taking this slightly out of order. I should go back a little bit. We see freaking Zeke freak out Mrs. Burke. We also see the new species into the science class with Jon Stewart. Sorry, folks, I am still sick, so I am kind of just not fully cognitive, shall we say. Lord of the Rings and The Faculty are my go-to Elijah Wood films. You know what? North was also a pretty good film with Elijah Wood. It's funny as fuck. But yeah, we get the new species and how they take a look at it, how it's a pelagic organism or sea-dwelling. And we see that these things can self-replicate. And one of them bites the science teacher, and he's like, God damn it! All around his students. And he's like, what? Oh, okay. And then you see Stokely put her hand up against the tank when they put the thing in a fish tank. And it has these red tendril-like things, kind of like fins on a fish to help it move around, but they can also be used for other things as well. And they cover Stokely's hand kind of like this, you know, up against one part. Then the tendrils go up and match her hand shape. Our school system is so crappy. I don't think space aliens turning people into bizarros of themselves could only be an improvement. Nice. Now, another thing that I did like about this film is this addresses every basic theoretical possibility in this school, where you could have a teacher that actually does like a student, where, I mean, yes, it's completely unethical, but it's there. They fucking go there, you know? I'm pissed I guessed wrong. I had this on VHS. Yeah. I actually taped it from DirecTV back in the day. And one of the things I do like is that Zeke actually hits on freaking Miss Burke she's secretly crushing on him. I mean, it's there if you see it, but it's not overtly, it's extremely subtle, but it is noticeable. So when after the wig out and Delilah and Casey investigating the faculty and the faculty lounge, Coach and what's her name, Olsen, come in, and they're like, so they're hiding in the closet, and then they find Mrs. Brummel's dead body, just as the Coach and Olsen are attacking the nurse to turn her. So Casey and Delilah escape. Cops are called, and they basically make Elijah Wood look like he's just craving attention. But also the principal turns the cop into an alien and whatnot. So they remove Brummel's body and put in an aid resuscitation Annie, which is a CPR doll. Chris McDonald, who played Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore, he plays in this film as well. He plays the father of Elijah Wood, and when they pull him out of or when they take him home, they're tearing apart his room. They're like, and the mother's like, check his school books. They hide the drugs in the spine of the books. What are you on, son? I'm not on drugs. And he rips apart his son's book, and he's like, that's government property, Dad. And he's like, you're going to go straight home, or straight to school, and come straight home. I'm not going back to that school. They're waiting for me. Oh, you'll go. If I have to nail you to the desk myself, you'll go. And he's starting to pull his privileges, like his computer, his internet, his music, and his mom embarrasses him. Is like, porno. And so they pull out the porno. Sorry, sport. No more flogging the bishop. It's fucking hilarious. He eats shit for breakfast. Indeed, he does. Alien cop versus samurai cop coming to a theater near you. Yeah. Like Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor. It's only ethical for a teacher to date their student if they're only like 5-year med school or college or something. Actually, even then, it's not allowed. And speaking of teachers, I think it is absolutely freaking hilarious that we got Jade Shadow in the freaking chat tonight, because she's studying to be a teacher, an English teacher, I believe, which is pretty cool. So, Jade, how is school, or how is college going for you, by the way? Are you passing all your courses? So he then tries sneaking out, or Elijah Wood, and while he's sneaking out, he sees the faculty, Olsen, Coach, and I believe Dan Von Bargen's character in silhouette waiting outside for him. He falls off the roof. They go reaching for him. He stands up, and his father's out there. He's like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Dad, they're here. The faculty. They disappeared, so it's fucking hilarious. So then, returning him back to school the next day, he's like, go on, son. Come home directly after school. Your mother's looking into a doctor. And then the principal, or the coach, goes to talk to the father. And Delilah pulls Casey into a bathroom where she's incognito. Now, because of Casey's being a problem for the faculty, it's going well. Courses are done. On to student teaching early next year. Nice. Congratulations. Like I said, once you make teacher, guess what? Your new your theme song is going to be Hot for Teacher. Just saying. Because, well, for obvious reasons. But anyway. So the teachers basically excel their plans, turning students and turning the rest of the faculty as well, bringing in cops every now and then to get them infected. And while this is going on, you then see all the freaking faculty drinking water, getting away from the coffee, turning on the air conditioners and the fans in the faculty lounge. You know that something is indeed going wrong and whatnot. Happy Dinosaur, parents who use drugs have kids that use drugs. Any questions? Yeah. Hot for teacher sounds about right for her. Yeah, I know, right? Well, folks, everybody who is subbed to my channel, you basically know Jade Shadow. So you've seen her on her own channel. You freaking decide. But anyway, so Mary Beth, who's talking to Stokely, notices that she likes Stan, the football dropout, and so she knocks him into a conversation, or she knocks Stokely into a conversation with him, and you realize that Stan and Stokely kind of have a thing for each other. It's just not out there. Stokely is perceived to be a lesbian and whatnot, but she actually does like Stan. So yeah. And then we get the lineage test from Mr. Tate, Daniel von Bargen, and he's like, I want you to write the names down of every one of your immediate families, and then the next town's over, and so on and so forth. Is this going to be on the test? This is the test. It's like, oh shit, dude, seriously? So then Stan and Stokely are noticing things are strange. Zeke is noticing it too while talking with Mary Beth, how Summer Phoenix's character, the one who was bitch slapping her boyfriend, she starts bitch slapping him again, and he's not reacting. So that tells you that he might be turned into a fucking alien. And then Mary Beth starts talking to him, and he's like, or Miss Burke shows up, who's no longer looking so reserved. She's looking quite sexy, and in her new alien persona. And Zeke dismisses her, but she pushes him back, or pushes him in, not letting him leave. And he's like, I'm clean, and it's too damn hot, and I got zero fucking tolerance. She's like, eat me, you asshole. I'm the one with zero tolerance, you pathetic little runt. He's like, what are you going to do? You're going to call my mother? And how would I do that? Do you even know where she is? And she just goes off on him. And he's like, oh, woman, what do you want? I mean, he talks back to her basically the way I would back when I was in school. I talk back to my teachers. I was not a perfect student. So she's like, I'm sick, you little boy. And then she grabs him by the back of the neck. If I catch you peddling your little wonder dust again, I'm going to shove my foot so far up your ass, you'll be sucking my toes till graduation. It's like, oh, shit. I mean, what more hint do you need that deep down she freaking has feelings for Zeke? And he's like, she's had some bad shit. Because he's freaking dealing scat and shit. Now, Stokely and Casey theorize that there's an alien invasion talking about how different filmmakers, Spielberg, Lucas, Emmerich, and all them, are basically using science fiction to prove people, or to convince people that if an alien invasion ever occurred, people wouldn't believe it because they never would expect it to actually really happen. The way that they actually say it is they're using fiction to fool us into thinking that an invasion would be unbelievable if it ever really happened. Yeah. So the missing new species, we get to this scene where Stan is on board. He's listening in. And they're like, this is nuts. This is fucking nuts. And you also hear Zeke listening in with Mary Beth, who they're basically making out in the fucking science storeroom. And then Jon Stewart comes in. He's like, shouldn't you be in class? Well, here's the thing, Mr. Furlong. Casey here thinks you're an alien. And so he's laughing, and then he just drops the facade. And I'm like, why would you drop the facade? I mean, obviously, you're one teacher. You wouldn't be able to handle all 5 of these students. But he tries to anyway. The digital effects in this movie are fucking horrible, by the way. I feel like if actual space alien invasions happened, the institutions would call them bigoted for fighting alien menace. Jesus. The faculty's only flaw is it feels like an alien invasion during an early CW drama. Oh my god, dude. That is freaking hilarious. So we then get the fight between Furlong, and you see Josh Hartnett whip up the paper shred or the paper slicer and rip the blade off of the thing. He's like putting the fuck down, Furlong. And so he slices off his fingers, which turn into like alien snake kind of things. And he gets stabbed in the eye from the epic foreshadow. Why don't you just put a pen in my eye? The things that the scats or that the drug scat is stored in is basically emptied or hollowed out pens. And then they see how Jon Stewart freaks out because of the caffeine pill. So they got to get the fuck out. And they're like, isn't this the part where somebody says, let's get the fuck out of here? Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. Aliens are taking over our school. So they grab one of the fingers that was slithering around. And we then see them walking through the school. And where all the students are basically looking at them. Many of them are acting differently. Summer Phoenix's character is with her boyfriend, no longer fighting and slapping each other. And they get out to the car, Zeke's car, where he has, I believe it's a Charger or a Bronco, one of the two. One of those nice old-fashioned fucking cars that is American muscle. And Usher and the rest of the team are like, hey, Stan, where are you going? Why don't you stay and play with us? He's like, no, thanks, Gabe, but thanks, man. And they speed off. You see the police putting up barricades. So they dodge the barricades, and they get to Zeke's home. They're like, where are your parents? Europe, I think. And you see his whole lab system where he's making more scat and whatnot. And so they take out the finger and do a little bit of science. And this is where this is where serious adults would be doing science and doing the same shit. But seeing students pull this shit, it does become unbelievable in one way or another. And you see how they cut the parasite out of the finger, and then they cut off a piece of the finger or the parasite. The tail end they give to a mouse, which gets infected by it, and they kill the mouse, dissect it, pull out a newly formed parasite, and you see that it dried the mouse out completely in the inside, as well as he pours the drug on the parasite, and he's like, this drug's a diuretic. It dries them completely out, killing them. So then they get to the theory, how do we kill all these things? It's probably got a queen or something. And they're discussing how to find a queen or whatnot, if it's a hive mind theory, who's an alien and who's not. Now, this scene is fucking hilarious because they're like, all of us need to take a hit. No way, man. I don't do drugs. Well, if you're not an alien, you got nothing to worry about. The money turns into Slither for a brief second. Movie, yeah. Kid teacher, I think you're a space alien teacher. All I'm doing is teaching you Spanish. Nice. So each person is tested to take a hit. And fucking Elijah Wood is the first one. He's like, Casey, you first. Why me first? It's your birthright, man. Just fucking take it. Just love that fucking line, dude. Josh Hartnett, he's like, it's your birthright, man. Just fucking take it. So you see freaking Elijah Wood, you see him take this full fucking hit. He puts it in and he just fucking just inhales the whole shit. You actually see the fucking powder go up into his nose and he's like, and he sits down. And so fucking Stan challenges Zeke. He's like, how do we know you're not one of those fucking things? I don't get high on my own stash, man. Fuck that, man. You're taking. And then you see fucking Elijah Wood tweaking out. Like, you're taking it. And he just fucking starts laughing and giggling. It's like, what's wrong with him, man? Nothing's wrong with him, you asshole. He's tweaking. Let him fucking tweak. So then you see Josh Hartnett take it. Then you see Stan take it. And then he's like, you next, Stokely. I am not putting that fucking hack drug up my nose. Aliens are taking over the planet. Weigh it. So she takes it. And then he's like, now you, Delilah. And that's when he starts getting hit with the effects. And he starts laughing at he starts laughing with Stan and Elijah. And Mary Beth is she says she's allergic to aspirins earlier in the film. And Delilah's like, yeah, not Portuguese. Who cares? So then they both fucking take it. And so you see Mary Beth take her hit, and you see Delilah take it and then scream. Everybody fucking sobers up real fucking quick. It's like, well, if there's an emergency situation, your body can do wonderful things. When your body floods you full of adrenaline, it can burn out a lot of different things, narcotics included. So then they check on Dell, and her face looks like it's just fucking crawling with shit. And she then breaks out of the place after wrecking Zeke's supply. And they're like, shoot her, Casey. Shoot her in the head. And he's like, no, don't shoot her, Casey. Shoot her, Casey. She's fucking one of them, man. And Stokely then fucking takes the gun. I'll fucking shoot her. And you see her fucking trying to blast away at her. And it's like, holy shit. Well, of course Stokely would fucking shoot her because she hates fucking Delilah, It is so fucking hilarious. I'll fucking shoot her. And she's trying to shoot her. And when they fucking go chasing after her, you see fucking Stokely just come out blasting. It's a fucking revolver, but she's like, poof, poof, poof. It's like, holy shit, dude. Not even hesitating. She just wants to fucking kill the bitch. She's like, should have known that crazy bitch was one of them. And Delilah ends up escaping with a student driver that knew where they were, who was also an alien. And then you see Mary Beth coming out of there tweaking, but she has this, it's a very small tweak. So that's kind of like a small hint. She's giggling. She wasn't wigging out like the others. So that's a small hint that maybe something's up with her. So then they take whatever's left of the scat that they can muster up, and they head back to the school. It's like, are you fucking out of your mind? But they got to save the world, Kids got to save the world. It's fucking insane, but it's still a movie that fucking has entertainment value. Now, we get to the Infectious football game where the players are just pounding the shit out of the one team that could usually kick their ass. And they're infecting each student or each other player as they go. And you see the coach just going nuts, celebrating and whatnot. It's like, yeah. And then he's like, get in there and take his fucking head off. You see fucking Usher Raymond just clothesline a dude or clothesline another player. It's like, holy shit, dude. And they said during the football game, you hear Pink Floyd's "Brick in the Wall." We don't need no education, that one. And so they trap the principal, and it's like, holy shit, they're gonna fucking try to kill the queen because they think that Mrs. Drake, who's the principal of the school, well, in their minds, it makes complete sense that she would probably be the one responsible for it all, And I absolutely love this. They freaking tackle her. They tie her up with a fucking volleyball net. Sniff this. No, sniff this or he shoots you. I will not. And they're like, now what do we do? they don't know what to fucking do. It's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And so I was like, fine. Remember Furlong? We punched it into his eye. The reaction was instantaneous. And BB Newworth does a great job acting, making them think that she might actually still be human. So I was like, don't wuss out, Casey, just do it. Josh Hartnett goes up, blasts the principal in the head. She starts bleeding out. So they think that they might have made a mistake. Well, we all know that's not exactly true. And she ends up coming up anyway, and then you see a bunch of more parasites crawling out of the head or the hole in her forehead. And Mary Beth takes the entire fucking supply of drug, splashes it in the principal's face, and then tries pouring the rest all over her, and she has to be stopped from doing that. Well, there's another hint for you. So now the teacher is just fucking melted. I mean, Principal Drake, BB Newworth's character, died twice in this film. Once when she got stabbed to death, and a second time when she got her head blown off. Then a third time where she gets, well, actually 3 times. Then a third time where her skin completely melts off because of the drug. So, yeah. Now they need to get more Scat, which they might have in the truck. And there's one more Scat pen, which they're going to go after the coach, and Stan goes out to the coach. But before he does, Stokely gives him a nice kiss. And you see fucking Elijah Wood standing there with a chair, getting ready to put it in between the door and the handle to the door, because these were those push doors back in the day, which were actual bars, not the ones that they have now. And you see him just like, and she's like, what are you looking at? And he's like, he just starts blinking really fast, and you see Josh Hartnett laughing his ass off. And so then you see Stan run out into the pouring rain. And I got to say, this was actually a pretty good digital shot where it shows the coach when the lightning is flashing. He has a more monstrous looking face, a bunch of worm-like things sticking out of his face. And it's like, oh, shit, dude. Maybe he was the head of the monsters, you know? Now, when they couldn't find Stan, and Stan comes back, he's freaking out. He's like, let me in, you know? They're like, take the test, Stan. And he's like, I will, but let me do it inside. No, you fucking take it right now. And so he pours it out because obviously he turned. And he tries convincing Stokely that it is so much better and how they want her and how he wants her and whatnot. And he then scares her off and whatnot. Oh, sorry, still dry throat. So we then basically find out that there's no more Scats. Well, there might be some in the car. And 2 of them go out. Casey and Zeke. He's like, does it really take 2 of us to get to your car? No, one of us is a decoy. And so Elijah Wood is the fastest runner out of them. And so he is the one to be the decoy. And he gets into one of the buses, so he's hiding from the football team who's chasing him around the freaking bus or school bus lot. And Delilah approaches him. She's like, Class Willis, we can help you belong. Isn't that what you really want? She tries basically convincing him. She's like, she's like, if you basically become one of us, you and I can be together. That kind of deal. But he basically denies it, or he access denied basically, and escapes the bus. Where Zeke gets to his car, is looking for his Scat, can't find any in the trunk, but he knows that he's not alone. Hello, Miss Burke, and there she is waiting for him. Hello, cutie pie. Change your mind about those chocolate-covered laxatives, or those laxatives? Actually, I was in the mood for something cherry flavored. You know what I mean. And he's like, sorry, I'll allow those, but I got something else for you. Oh, yeah? Is it tasty? Let me hook you up. So then he goes into his car trying to start it. She crashes through the other window. Hello, Ziggy Bye. And he basically goes into speeding around the lot trying to keep her off of him because she tries putting her little tentacle tongues in his ear and whatnot. So he ends up clicking his seatbelt on at the last second, crashing his car into a freaking school bus, seeing her fly out the freaking windshield, and you see a dummy do it. The only problem is the dummy was intact. And when he crawls out of the car, you see that her head is slithering by with a bunch of tentacles, and you see her body stand up without the head, feeling around for the head, and the head's making its way towards the body. So he pulls the gun on her, and then he's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. And we then get a cut back to the school where the climax begins. Stokely and Mary Beth are talking, and Mary Beth asks Stokely, who wins in Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Well, they do. They get us, we lose, they win. And so then Mary Beth is like, I know you don't like, or I know that you like to not be who you really are, Stokely, but don't you think you should stop hiding from what you are? I know I am. So then she punches Stokely down off the bleachers, and you see her arm is now a tentacle. Bad CGI, but it works in a way. And then you get a mix of CGI and a practical effect monster. And I got to say that is some pretty good freaking monster effects. So this creature is, in fact, very amphibious. What's up? My friend is coming back out again, making a fool of himself. So, yeah. She then starts chasing them into the pool area where this is an aquatic alien life form. She gets to the other side, pulls Stokely in. Now, the blood in Stokely's mouth is like extremely excessive because she smacks her face down on the tile of the floor in the swimming area. And she gets pulled into the pool, and there's just so much fucking blood coming out of her mouth, you know? It's like she had to cut her fucking mouth open or something on the inside. And you see that the creature's just about to attack her, but she gets pulled out by Casey at the last minute and pulled into the locker rooms. Well, the queen then, or the queen alien reverts back to Mary Beth, who is now naked, swimming in the pool. Not a bad body either. Excuse me. You then see Zeke coming in while Stokely is hiding. And Zeke's like, hello. And you see Stokely is like, Zeke over here. And you see Stokely is basically or Mary Beth is like, watch out for her. She attacked me, Zeke, and playing on his emotions for her. We don't know what she is, gay, straight, alien. And she walks out. She's completely naked. Answer me something, Mary Beth. Why are you naked? You don't like it, Zeke? My body? I'm kind of getting used to it myself. And then she basically just comes clean with him. He's like, I saw you take the test. How the hell can you be sure what you saw? And then you see back when she takes the test, it shows that her nostrils seal up and that tentacle pinky of hers pushes off the cap to the scat, allowing it to pour out. So she doesn't take a hit at all. So that's how she was able to take the hit and fake it. you know? And then when he goes to stab her, well, Stokely stops him, and she's a fucking alien somehow. So then Casey throws her into a storage area and locks her in. And then fucking Josh Hartnett, he's like, take this. Now for Mary Beth. You fucking sniff it. You're out of your fucking mind. I'm not taking any chances. I leave for 5 minutes. Everybody's a fucking alien. Don't make me Men in Black your ass. You fucking sniff it. And it's like, oh, shit. So he takes it, and he's like, happy now? And then he's fucking starts wigging out after Zeke starts running around. Zeke gets tossed around, and it's like, oh, shit. So then we get a pretty cool effect in the next shot where she reverts back to her human form, but her shadow is a bunch of tentacles. And she tries convincing Casey, it's like, my world was just basically one giant huge ocean. So it's like, okay, so you came from Neptune. And she escaped and came back to her own, or came to Earth, trying to fit in and how she could show them a part of her world. Mind you, she is completely naked, but obviously she has something covering up so she cannot. So her bits can't be seen. But anyway, he tells her, he's like, I'd rather be afraid other than fearless. And she's like, fine, well, this is where your land of fiction gets it right. We win. End of story. So he ends up escaping the locker room where she's literally trying to throw all the lockers out of the way. And he goes over to the bleachers and closes the bleachers on her in her alien form. Now, this is some of the best practical effects I have ever seen in a film, where it literally looks like his face is just full of fucking parasites, which they were, which they made prosthetics where the parasites could go into his face. Europa and Jupiter's moons, I think, yeah. And this is after he stabs her with the last thing of a scat in the eye. And then you see, after she dies, the parasites just slip out of his face, and it's like, oh shit, man, that is just disgusting, but it's cool. He's like, you wouldn't have liked it here anyway. It's a brilliant line. So then afterward, you see life is returned to normal in Harrington High. Stan is with Stokely watching the football tryouts, and you see Zeke is playing football with Usher, and you see Mrs. Burke is back to her normal reserved self. But she's also waving to Zeke, which is basically, yeah, she is crushing on Zeke, but she's not hiding it anymore. You then see Delilah show Casey a bunch of different tabloids where he saves, or the hoax, or if it's a hoax or something. And you see the school newspaper where he saves the school. She gives him a good, nice, long kiss. And then they walk to see the reporters coming up to ask him questions. And then we get the credits rolling. And all the credits basically show different parts of scenes from the movie, but instead of one with Jon Stewart, where he turns with an eye patch and his hand is bandaged where he lost his fingers. That's different because we never saw that in the movie. And it was a real good movie. So we are going to get to the scoring of the faculty. Objectively, this movie is about a 6.5 to a 7. With that's without bias. There are some glaring errors, bad CGI. Writing issues are kind of a problem with this film. There are some logic issues as well. But for the most part, the movie is subjectively very well done. I give it a 9 out of 10 subjectively because I do like sci-fi movies that are they're just nuts and they really turn your brain off. Moviegoer, it's 10 out of 10 because it's a turn your brain off movie by Robert Rodriguez, dude. Guys, Robert Rodriguez does great movies, and it's really hard to give him anything less than an 8 out of 10 when it comes to subjective or moviegoer, because he just does that much of a wonderful job. Now, we're going to get to the hints for the final movie, and it looks like we got another fucking bot. So if somebody could take care of that one. Epi, good to see you. Stupid end of the world storms knocking out my net. I'm here at last. It still counts even though end of review, right? Yeah. 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's a 9.5 out of 10 for eye candy, though. Yeah, definitely. I could agree with that. It's agreeable. So the hints for the next mystery review. Oh, I'm actually getting over the cold. So the hints for next mystery review are Orca and Rubber Teeth. If you guys can guess that, awesome. Santa Megatron, happy holidays, dude. Ho, ho, ho to you. So, yes. Orca and Rubber Teeth. Those are your two hints for next Wednesday night. Stay tuned for tomorrow night. I'm going to have a panel talking with me. Robert used to Salma Hayek to great effect. Yes, he does. He really does. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, 9 p.m., me and a few others, depending on who wants to join, we're going to be talking about what we know about the Alec Baldwin situation, what we've heard, what is known. No, that's not it. But good guess. It's not any of the Free Willy movies. But if you do know it, do not spoil it. DM me your answer if you know it on Twitter. But yes, tomorrow night is going to be a live stream about the Alec Baldwin situation, so me and a panel can just do a discussion of what we know, give people some updates on what's going on, and how truly evil Alec Baldwin really fucking is, because he is a prick. And then Friday night is going to be Star Killer versus Mara Jade. So Jade Shadow, if you're still here, if you want in, no, wait, that's right. You're going to be going live for Cringe Talk or for Cringe Factory. But yes, Mara Jade versus Star Killer is the next versus stream. I will have Netcat and JXN. If anybody else wants to join, contact me. Yes, it's going to be the same time. All my streaming is going to be at 9 p.m. because that's when all the kids here are asleep and I'm able to do some stuff. So yes, Friday night, if anybody wants to join for that one, let me know. I will add you to the panel. And then I'm going to take the weekend off so I can heal my voice a little bit more if I'm not already at 100%. Anyway, folks, Price is Right review. Good to see you. You're coming in at the end. Thank you all for tuning in. Price is Right, Norris, Epi, Santa Megatron. Great one. I might go live Friday, don't know, but I won't be available around then anyway because I have to get up early the next day. My money's on Mara Jade. Nice. But yes, those are going to be the ones talking. Happy Dino, thank you for tuning in. Jade Shadow, Jack of All Casuals, Junebug. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, who have tuned in and may not have commented. Sorry you didn't. But yes, the hints for next week is Orca and Rubber Teeth. Hope to see you all then. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.